Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Irreverent Nexus. As we get closer and closer to the big day when all the votes are tallied up, absentee or otherwise, and we have an actual path towards a winner, the scandals emerge. Everybody saw this coming. This isn't surprising. What is surprising is the low bar that they seem to put on these scandals. Here we have New York Magazine, Jonathan Chait reporting in the most sarcastic article I've seen in a long time. Tucker Carlson reports he lost only copy of documents that nail Biden. The Trump campaign and its right-wing media messengers have devoted the final stretch of the election to insisting they had uncovered proof of deep corruption by the Biden family, along with demands that the mainstream media cover their allegations. Cover means float insinuations of guilt rather than nailing down the truth of the charges. There have been several fishy aspects to the accusations, however. Without getting into all of those fine details, it's not particularly credible. We get to Tucker Carlson, though, and this is where things get interesting. They said they had acquired incriminating documents. I'm sure everybody from the Democratic Party to the United States Senate would be interested in seeing incriminating documents that would suggest deep corruption among this highly elite and respected member of the U.S. government for many years. They conclude by saying, Chait does, that this just shows how desperate Biden is to make this story disappear, and in no way reflects poorly on the credibility of the sources of this alleged scandal. That is liberal elite news speak for Tucker Carlson is full of shit. Now that brings us to Tucker's tweet here. This is where things get a little bit more interesting.
There's always a lot going on that we don't have time to get to on the air, but there's something specific going on behind the scenes right now that we did feel we should tell you about. So on Monday of this week, we received from a source a collection of confidential documents related to the Biden family. We believe those documents are authentic, they're real, and they're damning. At the time we received them, my executive producer, Justin Wells, and I were in Los Angeles preparing to interview Tony Bobolinsky about the Biden's business dealings in China, Ukraine, and other countries. So we texted a producer in New York, and we asked him to send those documents to us in LA, and he did that. So Monday afternoon of this week, he shipped those documents overnight to California with a large national carrier, a brand name company that we've used, you've used countless times with never a single problem. But the Biden documents never arrived in Los Angeles. Tuesday morning, we received word from the shipping company that our package had been opened and the contents were missing. The documents had disappeared. Now, to its credit, the company took this very seriously and immediately began a search. They traced the envelope from the moment our producers dropped it off in Manhattan on Monday all the way to 3:44 a.m. yesterday morning. That's when an employee at a sorting facility in another state noticed that our package was open and empty. Apparently, it had been opened. So the company's security team interviewed every one of its employees who touched the envelope we sent. They searched the plane and the trucks that carried it. They went through the office in New York where our producer dropped that package off. They combed the entire cavernous sorting facility. They used pictures of what we had sent so that searchers would know what to look for. They went far and beyond, but they found nothing. Those documents have vanished. As of tonight, the company has no idea and no working theory even about what happened to this trove of materials, documents that are directly relevant to the presidential campaign just 6 days from now. We spoke to executives at that company a few hours ago. They seemed baffled and deeply bothered by this.
This is fascinating on so many levels. What makes it especially interesting to me and relevant for our conversational purposes is that there appears to be a scandal, but no scandal. I have an envelope. This envelope contains damning documents about politician X. But if you open said envelope, the documents disappear. The documents appear to exist and not exist all at the same time. I'm not saying that Fox News is lying. I just think they are. This is a completely fabricated story, and it's incredible that this passes for news now. Is this really where we are as a nation? We've reached the point where we are willing to accept Schrödinger's political scandal. There is a bevy of corruption against Joe Biden. I don't have any proof of anything, and I have a very convenient explanation as to why there is no proof, but I have seen this proof, and I know it exists. I mean, I've heard stories about Mark Zuckerberg's humanity. There are several people, perhaps thousands of people, who believe that that exists. I'm still not convinced. Ladies and gentlemen, this is silly. This whole thing is silly. This is the dumbest attempt to tar a presidential candidate since the James Comey letter in 2016, when Comey comes out and says that he's investigating the candidate. A sitting FBI director investigating a standing presidential candidate and announcing it during the hot month of October, when the election is at its most fiery. I'm just saying, there's a lot of coincidences. There's a lot of conveniences. There wouldn't be stories floating around about Hillary's assassin skills if there weren't so many conveniences. But just because there are coincidences and conveniences, there is not a conspiracy. There is no mysterious envelope full of documents. This whole thing is theater, designed to disrupt the Biden campaign. And if you fall for this kind of theater, I'm very sorry, but you need to do some critical thinking. My name has been Irreverent Nexus. Thank you very much for watching, folks. Stay curious and stay critical.